Hey guys, welcome to the weekend and happy Sunday, happy Father's Day to everyone. I wanted to give you a quick update on how to prevent hallucinations or how to prevent errors when you're using a GPT. I was working with a client about 2 weeks ago and we successfully rolled out a large language model implementation inside of their company that was client facing, but it was hallucinating. And his solution to that was to take the entire system down. Now, there's two things here to know. The first is you always want to have an acceptable margin of error in your process. So an exceptional margin of error may not mean that, 20% of the time it hallucinates. It may be something closer to 2% or 0.2%. But regardless, you want to have an acceptable margin of error and you want to know what you're going to do when that error or when those errors or those hallucination happens. So he wanted to take everything down, and that was his solution. But what I'm going to show you today, I'm going to share my screen with you. And what I'm going to show you is a way to potentially prevent hallucinations by seeing them before they happen. So let me just share my screen with you and show you that now. Okay. Um, so inside of your settings, inside of personalization, you have custom instructions here. And this is the important part. What you want to do in the custom instructions is you want to say, please always respond with my first name. Give it your first name. And before submitting the final response, please always double check the answer is factually correct and cite all sources. So what this is going to do is every time it returns a response to you, so whether you're using a vendor product like I am here or you've built your own LLM, it'll return the response with your first name. Anytime it doesn't return the response with your first name, then you know that it hasn't listened to the instructions. Therefore, it has not checked the final response to make sure it's accurate factually, and it has not cited all the sources. So this is one way you could potentially catch an hallucination or catch an error before it happens. In other words, you ask it, it's not behaving, or you ask it, it seems to be responding the way you want it to, but it doesn't respond with your first name. That's how you know it's not listening to those custom instructions. Okay, let me just pause this. Okay, great. So those are two ways that you can prevent hallucinations. The first way is to determine what's your probability of error, right? Is that 20%? Is it 2%? Is it 0.2%? And then what do you do in your process when there is an error? Like the client I was working with about 2 weeks ago, his solution was to just take everything down. No, I don't recommend that, but you should develop a process. And the second thing is to, in the custom instructions, set up a custom instruction that has it respond with your first name and always double check the answers to make sure they're factually correct and cite the sources before it responds. And then anytime it responds and it doesn't respond with the person's first name, then you know the answers have not been checked. So could potentially be a hallucination. All right. If you have any more questions, give me a call. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye bye.